Hello everyone and welcome back to API Test Hub. This is part 5 of our API testing series. In our previous video, we already covered about different HTTP status codes, and in this video, we will be covering the most commonly used API testing tool, that is Postman. So let's get started. So Postman is an open source API testing tool which is widely used, and it is free to download, and you can always go to its official website to download it. So I'll post this link in the description box as well. You can go to that link, and if you see it here, it will give you 2 3 options about download. So whatever operating system you are using, you can download the Postman app according to that. So I'm using Windows, so I'll do the Windows download, and if you are using Mac or Linux, you can go to these links to download the specific Postman app for your system. So you just need to click on here and it will download in your download folder. So I have already downloaded it. So you can see it here, it's .exe file. So what you have to do is just click on it. So it will install in your system. So isn't it easy? And it's just few clicks you need to do and you will be good to go for API testing. So it's installing. It will be done in just few seconds. So you can see my Postman is installed. So let's get familiar with the interface and how you can use this tool for doing your API testing. Now, you can sign into Postman using any kind of account. You can create your own account or add an existing account with your Gmail or anything. So it's always recommended to have an account on Postman. So it's easy to, whenever you are changing your system, you can always log into your previous account and use the Postman collection. But if you don't want to log in, that is also fine. You can use this without login as well. So that was about the login part. Now let's learn about different features of Postman one by one. So the very first thing is the collection. So what is a collection? So collection is kind of a folder, you can understand in a layman thing. So it's a kind of a folder which will be holding, which will be organizing different APIs together. So for example, if we have to create a collection of APIs, like it's doing a flow for creating a post, deleting a post, updating a post, for those we will, all the APIs will be in one collection. So it's kind of a folder. So it's really helpful, and you will see in the later part of the video what different benefits we have for the collection. So let's get started. So this collection, so how you can create a new collection. So if you see it here, there is a plus sign. You can always click it here and you can create a blank collection. So in this collection, what we will be doing, we will be creating new request. So you can always name it as anything you want. So I'm naming it as API collection. So inside this collection, so this is kind of a folder for me, and it will organize my all request, all my get, put, post, whatever request I'm going to create, it will organize them in this folder, in this collection. So we call it as a collection which has a combination of request in it. So this is a collection I have already created. Now inside that collection, I'll create a request. So we have learned in our previous videos that what is an API? It's a request a client is sending to the server. So what is that request? So let's create that request, how it should be. So what you have to do is you can just click on it here, add a request, or you can go to this new and create an HTTP request, or you can go to this plus sign. So there are multiple ways to do that. So I'll just do it from here, add a request. So by default, it will be a get request. So you must have understood about different HTTP methods as of now. So in a request, we have two things. One is the get method. When one is the method, it can be anything, get, put, post, and delete, and a URL, right? So here first we will create a get request inside our collection. So to demonstrate these requests, I have one dummy API which I will be using for this demonstration. So that is this JSON placeholder one. So I will be using this one just for the demonstration. We will create our own in upcoming videos. So I'm going to start a new series for creating a REST application with Spring Boot. Then we will create our own API as well. So as of now, for just for demonstration, I'm using this particular API. So if you see it here, it's a get method and there is a URL here, a proper URI, which is going to some endpoint. This is an endpoint, right? And this is a URL where it is going. So in get request, we only fetches the data. So what we want here is we just want to fetch the post at first index, the which is having ID 1. So that is the request. So what I need to do is I just need to send it because it doesn't have any body. Get doesn't have body. So I just need to give my request and the method. So when I do the send, what happened here? I'll get the 200 response back. So what happened here is Postman is acting as a client and it's going to the server and getting the server and asking it to give me the response for this particular request. So server understood the request and gives back me the JSON format response. So this JSON format is a key ID pair. So if you see there is a key that is a username and value is the one. So with ID as a 1, I got the response back from the server. So this is the thing you need to do for creating a get request, and this is the response you are getting back. So here you can validate whatever response you are getting. So that is about the get request. To create it, now you can always rename it as well. So let's rename it to API get request and save it. And just I'll familiarize you with other these tabs. So the first one is the headers. So headers are kind of additional information you can pass on with your API request. So you can understand it as like if you want your a particular request in English language only, then you can send it here that X something like language. You can create your own kind of header as well. This is custom header, you say it and you can say it as English. So this kind of thing you can pass as an additional information with your request. And there are some default headers you can use, for example this content type. So what it will do, it will explain that this particular request will always accept and send the application JSON format only. So JSON format is this kind of format, and it sends the JSON format and it accepts the JSON format. So this is the also a header you can pass. So these are few of the headers which are commonly used in your APIs. So this is kind of additional information you are sending. There is one more header, that is authorization. For that I'll create another separate video for API security only. So as of now, just understand these headers are just the additional information we are sending. Another folder is this body. So body, we don't send it with get, right? So we will see in post how we send it. So through this we send a body. And the script part, here you can write, you can automate your this request in Postman. So we will learn about scripts in our later videos, how you can write your test, how can you make these tests as an automation, right? So all of these we will cover in upcoming videos. So I'm just giving you walk through what are these. So another thing is body, we already covered, right? And yeah, this was all about a get request. So now quickly move towards the other request, that is a post request. So we know that the post request, with the post request you can create a record. With the get, we fetch the record. So now let's create a record. We can add a request it here. So here you can change the get method to post, and let's copy it the URI, so it has a different URI, that's only post. So you can rename it as API post request. Now, post requires a body. So go to a body. Now I have to give a JSON because it accepts, it's a REST API, it accepts a JSON format. So I'll do it as a JSON. And what I have to do is, so you need to understand whatever you are getting as a response, right? The similar thing, the same thing you have to pass in while creating as well. So I want to, but you need to give a new information. So I want a user ID for 21 and ID for 101, for example, and this will be same as it is. So what I want is, I want to create a new post with this ID and this user ID. So what it will do, it will create a new post. So I just need to send the request from here, and you can see my response code is 201 created, and I can see the response from the server that whatever you have given me, I have created that in the server. So that is about post request. So post request, you can send it body like this and validate your response like the response code and the response body. So let's save it here. So I have created two requests. So let me quickly go through other two requests, put and delete as well. So let's add quickly API put request. So we know that the put request we use to update the record, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to update this first post, the ID with 1. So this put request also requires a body. So I'll give the body here, and I just want to update the title. So what I'll do, I'll remove it, and for example, I just want the title as test, and that's it. You just need to give the method and the URI and just send it. So what will happen, it will update it has updated the ID1, title of the ID1 as test, and I'm receiving 200 OK back. So that's all about put. You just need to give the method and the URI, and you are good to go. And the next is the delete. So just quickly do that as well. Just select the delete method, and I want to delete this first post. Then we know that delete does the deleting part. Okay, so what I will do, I'll just send it. So it doesn't require any body, so let's send it. So you can see that I'm getting 200 OK, but it should be 204, but that's okay. This is just a demonstration and a dummy API we are using. We will create our own, and we will use the correct HTTP status codes over there, and that's a delete. So how easy it is, right? So it's quite easy to use this API, like this tool. So what we have done so far is, we have created an API collection, and inside that we have added all our API requests. Now coming towards other features of Postman. Next very important feature is the environment. So what is environment? So it's a additional feature Postman has given us to make our API more organized, and it's really helpful whenever you are automating your test. So let me give you an example. So if you go to the environment, you can always go to the create environment, and you can create your own environment. So what environment has, it has variables. So you can why we need a variable, we need a variable when the value of some things are changing again and again, right? Or you are using the same thing throughout your different scenarios, and whenever there is a change in that particular thing, you have to change it all over the places, right? So to avoid that manual intervention, we use variables, so that you can change the value at one place and it will be reflected all other places. So here if you see, we are using this base URL throughout our collection. So what I can do is, I can make a variable of it. So let's make a variable of it. Inside a variable, you can rename this as well. So I'm making as environment, API environment. And I'm adding a new variable, naming it as base URL and giving value this. So if I save it, so it's saved, right? Now how I can use it. So if you go back to your collection, here instead of giving the hard coded value, I can give my variables. If you do two curly braces, you can see that base URL will come up. Now it's not coming up here, right? Why? Because I haven't selected it here, my new environment which I have created. So I need to select it from here, that API environment is this. So once I do that, you can see that I'll get the option of base URL which I have recently created. So you can use that. So what I'll do, I'll use this base URL in all of my requests. So whenever there is, for example, there is a change in the base URL in future, so what I need to do is I just need to go to my environment and just change over there at one place. I don't need to go to all of my this collection and make the changes individually. So I can do that changes on my environment. That is the main best benefit of environments. So they are very helpful in automation as well, that we look upon whenever we go to the automation part. But as of now, you can understand it is making your work very easy. So that is about the environments, and you can always have the globals as well, so that global ones will be used throughout different collections. So that was about environments. Next comes the benefits of this, having this collection. The very main benefit of this API collection is you can easily export it and share it with anyone. So if you see it here, we have option of export. So what it will do, it will download your API collection. So let's download it. So it will download your API collection in a JSON format. So once you have downloaded, you can share it with anyone. So for example, you want to share it with your colleagues, they can have that JSON file, and what they can do is they can come to import and select that file from whatever file you have given and just open it. So it will say it already is there in my Postman, right? So it will ask me, do I need to import it or replace it? So I'll import as a copy. So I can easily import it. So isn't it easy to share your collection with others? So it's quite easy to do that, to share it with others. So that is the benefit of having a collection. So the other question comes, what if I have to share only one endpoint? For that, you can always click on the particular endpoint, and if you see it here, there is a code snippet, and click on there, you will see a curl command. Copy this command and you can always share it with others. And if you import, if you want to import, you just need to paste your curl. So what it will do, it will import your collection, the particular endpoint, sorry. So it is also possible to share one particular endpoint and throughout one collection. And the coming towards the other benefits of API collection, the other benefit is, like, if you want to run the whole collection in a one go, instead of going to one and one two three four manually, you can run the whole collection in a one go. How you can do it? Click on you can right click on it, or you can go to this runs. If you see it here, it has run. So if you click on run collection, you will see that it has all the endpoints. So whichever endpoint you want to run, you can tick or untick. So I want to run my collection on all these endpoints. So how many iteration you want to run it for, like 2 times, 3 times, you can also give. So it's really helpful while doing a performance test. So in a functional test, you just need to run it once, right? So do it, you can give it as a one and just run the whole collection. So you can see it here, it has run all the endpoints without doing manual intervention. So it's really easy of having a collection and running it. So that was one of the benefits of having a collection. So I think I have covered pretty much everything about the Postman interface. So in the upcoming videos, we will dive deep into how to use it in a real time. So we will be creating our own API application and testing it through the Postman. So you will learn more things about Postman in upcoming videos. So as of now, I think this is pretty much, and you can familiarize with the interface first. And yeah, I'll share all these details in the description box. You can always check. And that's all. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned, and let's keep learning. Thank you.